Welcome everybody, I'm Dr. Sage Wolfe with the Detox International Training Institute of Health, and I am just out in Stuart, Florida, teaching the Wolfe Non-Surgical course, and from here I'll be going to Texas, and then from Texas we have another training that'll be happening in Barrie, Ontario, and then from Barrie, Ontario, we're going to be in Chicago, Illinois, I think. There's a lot of jumping around, so it's kind of hard to keep track sometimes. So today I'm just going to be talking about Wolfe Non-Surgical, what that is, and neck issues. So generally, because I've been having a lot of clients coming in the past couple days with neck issues and things attributing as such. So why do we have neck issues? Like, of course it can be from like a physical injury, but a lot of neck issues, and everybody in the world has some kind of tension in their neck. It's because we choose to kind of like live in fear, and then we feel like somebody's on our back. We're bending over backwards for people. I feel like I have to shoulder up, and I feel like I need to be protected and kind of create that shell. And so by doing that kind of tension at all times and kind of like having that fear, and so you got to be constantly checking in with yourself. I need to be throughout the day being like, are my shoulders down? Am I sitting proper? Like even throughout the time while I'm talking to you guys, I slowly am noticing myself start to come forward. And so I have to always kind of reiterate, like, am I in the best position for my body, or am I actually like starting to debilitate myself by getting in positions of feeling like that protection? And really watch it with the phone. When you're watching this right now and you're on the live, are you looking down right now? Are you hunching down? We really need to check in with ourselves. Sit up, sternum to the sky, chin up, and you can like have your phone up here. If you're going to look at your phone, look at it up here. And so with neck issues, like there's a lot of things that you can do to actually assist on neck issues. Like there's patting and clapping. If you go to the DocaDetoxLibrary.com, you'll be able to find patting and clapping, and that's going to be a stimulation just to help soften the tissue. And then look at getting a clapper. You can start with your hands, and it is really great stimulation for the hands as well, for circulation there, especially if you get cold hands. But if you're clapping a few areas in the body, you can only clap for so long. So with neck issues, as I was talking about, are we living in fear? Am I in contraction? Do I feel like I'm shouldering up quite a bit? You really got to be mindful about where your body's at and what you're doing throughout the day. And so patting and clapping is going to be great. Getting even just like a small tennis ball, starting with a tennis ball is great. And you're going to want to work like the upper trapezius muscle area. And I would just place the tennis ball on the side of the wall, and then I would rest it against my shoulder, and I'm just going to roll it back and forth, softening that tissue. And you can do that on either side. But the thing is, and so with neck issues as well, sometimes you have a weak neck because we're not doing anything on a daily basis to strengthen it. It depends on the job I have. If it's a very stagnant job and I'm sitting at a computer desk all day and I'm just staying in the one position, we're not really activating much going on here. And there's a lot of muscles coming up in here. So like doing like tension exercises by like holding your hand on your head, and I'm thinking and I'm pushing into my hand and I'm resisting that. And I'm going to hold that for about like 10 seconds, and then I'm going to relax. And then I'm going to continue to do that, putting that tension there, because it's going to cause that contraction, and it's me activating the muscle belly. And so I'm going to do that on either side, and I'm focusing on pushing my head against my hand to activate the muscle tissue. You want to feel your neck kind of tense up a little bit, and then you relax. You just hold for about 7 to 10 seconds. You can do it facing forward. I'm pushing my neck forward, and I'm holding my hand here, but I'm kind of staying stationary. So we want to activate those areas. One-shot therapy, that's also going to be in the library as well. If you have like a shot glass at home or like a smaller essential oil bottle, you can kind of get in, especially off that occipital ledge. If you take your finger and you drag it up the back of the neck, and you feel that bone, that's your occipital ledge. You're gonna feel that occipital ledge. Does it feel smooth, or is it like a nice contour to it? Is it smooth and there's a good ledge? Or does it feel like there's almost like uneven bones and kind of like, because our skull is not comprised of one bone. It's comprised of 8 bones, and then in between is connective tissue, and those are the connective tissue holding that together is just called sutures. But we can get actual scar tissue built up in the C1 area along the occipital edge. And so like taking an essential oil glass or a shot glass, and you don't want to scrub. So don't scrub with it. because scrubbing is going to cause like skin abrasion, it'll cause irritation quick. I want to actually place it on, and I'm pulling one direction. I'm pulling down, and it's like a scooping motion, and the actual bottle is on the surface, and I'm pulling down off the ledge. And I'm just going to scale all along the backside of my head, pushing one direction right now because I'm pulling down on my occipital ledge. And I'm just going to work along. And right on either side, it's almost if I connected from where my eyes are back here on either side. Feel, is it smooth or do you feel bumps right there? Because that's going to be called your occipital condyles. And those occipital condyles, people who start to get tinnitus, like a little bit of progressive hearing loss, eye problems, little bit of floaters and stuff like that. You're really, even brain fog, if you notice you're getting brain fog, opening up around that C1, cervical 1, where it comes into the brainstem insertion along the occipital ledge, you're going to feel like, wow, like I'm getting a rush of blood flow to the head. I think more clearly. I'm more present. And so the shot glass is really going to be handy. Clapping is a huge one, guys. Like I was saying, another huge one is like getting, even just like I said, a tennis ball is good to start. If you have a really tough tissue and you touch here and there's not a lot of compression within the muscle belly, we know you're in contraction. So we want to always kind of check in with my body, like where is things? Where do I feel pain? Pain is like your friend. I know people, when they feel pain, they're like, oh, I kind of want to run from it. I don't feel good. Like I want to kind of, hello, Adele. So people, what was I saying? Yeah, so people want to run from pain and they don't want to feel like, they want to mask it off. Like I don't normally watch TV, but like when I travel and I'm in a hotel, I'll see TV sometimes. And like every time we go into the commercials, because always a couple commercials play between something, there's like 3 or 4 like Advil, Tylenol ads, and it's like stopping pain receptors, stop your pain receptors. Why do we want to numbify ourselves? The pain in your body is literally telling you, I need to focus here. And if you had pain somewhere for a long time and then there's no pain there anymore, hi, Susan. So if you have pain somewhere and you've had pain there for a long time and the pain just miraculously goes away, you know what? That's on the cusp of this becoming a large problem because your body had to create, it felt like it was under attack for so long. It was saying, hey, wake up, like pay attention to me. We need to focus on what's going on in this area or wherever you're feeling that ailment. And so if you don't do that, then that's going to be when the bad thing happens because I didn't do anything about the pain. Now I don't feel the pain anymore. It just disappeared. No, your body actually had to place down a bunch of displaced calcium and go into the area, shut down the nerve transmission. So maybe you're not feeling that inflammation in the area anymore, but it could be 10, 20 times worse. Because it's on the cusp of you let it go for so long that the body masked it off. And so now it's like a house on fire, but you're not able to see it. So you're not even going to know where your pain is or where you have something kind of going wrong in the body, but we're not checking in with ourselves because you didn't check in the first place. Would this work for plantar fasciitis too? Yes. Fibromas, plantar fibromas. Yes. I don't know if you're talking about plantar fasciitis or fibroids. If you're talking about fibroids, one-shot therapy is going to be a little tough to do on fibroids because fibroids it is tough tissue, but normally it's in you normally find fibroids in the pelvis, in the abdomen, and in the breasts. And so normally that's going to be softer tissue that we're working with. So I would like to work with my non-surgical and do Wolfe Non-Surgical to pull that scar tissue apart because it's going to be too hard to get this through soft tissue to the mass. But if it was plantar fasciitis, yeah, you're just going to take your heel and you're going to work all around the bottom, the sides, and you're going to go both directions. So if this is my hand, just say, I'm not scrubbing. We don't scrub, because that'll cause skin abrasion. And put a little bit of coconut oil there too, or some kind of massage oil, and just work around it. And you're gonna work down all around the heel, and you're gonna feel little crystals crunching. And it'll be better because this shot glass has a little bit too rounded of an edge. That's why just go into your cupboard. Most people have shot glasses at their house, and just grab a shot glass. Don't have it too thin though, because if it's really thin glass, it'll cause skin abrasion and can break the skin a lot quicker. So if it's a little bit of a rounded edge, this is a little circular, especially when I'm working on the heel area, because it's a circular area as well. And take your hand and use it kind of like as a little guide and isolate. And you're gonna work in and crush up the little crystals built up all around the heel. Been using Muscle Restore and DMSO Rose too. Wonderful. And yeah, that's going to be great for any general area that's sore for you, that you feel is a little inflamed. You kind of want it to buffer down some inflammation, and just bounce back and forth with them. Don't usually mix them because they both hold different frequencies. Everything has a frequency, and your body likes taking frequencies on, but it's like, I don't want to go, like when people go to a buffet, you think you digested some of that food? Sure, you got maybe a little bit of nutrients from it, if that. But we can't just overindulge in a lot of things all the time and expect the body just to like recover really quickly and absorb it all. And it's like, we're not a trash bag. And so we treat each other like it. So like even mixed nuts, don't eat mixed nuts. All different types of nuts have different digestion rates. And so one nut's going to digest a little bit faster than the other, and one has different aminos than another, or different fatty acids than another. And so while you're eating like nuts, try to eat one nut at a time. Like I'll do some almonds right now, and then in a couple hours, maybe I'll do, or like later down, even an hour from now. But give yourself some digestion time so you can actually absorb the nutrients from what you're taking in. Can we treat vertigo? Yes. Like I would say anything is treatable if if the person wants to heal and they're alive, and anything's like curable. The body wants to heal. It is an amazing machine. It's just we don't put the right things into it, and we don't keep our frequency high. We allow people to bring us down all the time. So be mindful of that. But yeah, treating vertigo, I would even say start with the shot glass. And like good thing I'm in the kitchen. So a plate, you're gonna want a little bit smaller of a plate, and you can do a round plate. Try it in the bed, like in a bed. And so, or like in a bed, because then the plate's going to sink into the cushion more. Don't put it on like you could do on maybe like a carpet, but you're going to place the plate like directly on the ground, and it's going to be on an angle. So if I was lying on the ground, the plate is vertical, and I want it on that occipital ledge. And I'm actually going to lie on that plate, and you're going to hang out there. I'm going to take my hands away, but I'm sitting in a chair right now. But, I'm going to like lie on top of the plate, and it's going to slowly open up that occipital ledge, and that's going to help bring in more flow to help that vertigo, and really get to clapping. Clap the back of that occiput and clap the side of your temporal bones, so all around here as well. Yeah, so the plate, it's really good. One-shot therapy, clapping. Try to do it all if you can. Hydrate like crazy. Get into your breath. Be mindful of your breath, and try not to breathe so much through your mouth. Don't. If you're a mouth breather and you're breathing through your mouth right now, try to shut that. Breathe through a nasal way, because it's the best way to breathe. And slow breaths, my friends. What about big like knobs behind the ear? I know it's not normal, but what caused it and treatment. So the kind of treatment is kind of what I'm showing, unless you have like a Wolfe Non-Surgical therapist in the area, and then you can actually break down that calcium. That's from maybe damage to the neck or occiput area, if you've had like concussions or whiplash or stuff like that, maybe getting car accidents. Other than that, I'm going to say it's mass amounts of stress, shouldering up and being in such contraction, stressing yourself out a lot, trying to think way too much. You're going to have a buildup of the actual scar tissue. And so that scar tissue is going to turn to kind of calcification on the head. And so we are going to be working all along those bones. If you feel like they're really thick, that means you're stressing yourself out too much. You need to get into that breath a little bit more, try to calm down, and get to working, because if you're going to start working on this, it does take some time. At this point, it's not just like crystallization or scar tissue, it's calcification. What is calcification? It's pretty much bone on top of bone. It's the same thing, like you have a bunion on your foot, you got like a little bit of calcification back here that you kind of built up. Yeah, because most people don't realize, like, throughout the sleep, like, they'll end up opening their mouth and start, like, snoring and stuff, especially with males who, like, eat really crappy, eat too many carbs. We end up dropping that jaw and And so mouth tape is amazing. You can find mouth tape like on Amazon or like online somewhere. You might be able to find it at like most pharmacies, but mouth tape is really, really cool. You just put that tape over your mouth, sleep with it. It looks a little silly, but who cares? You're sleeping anyways. And it's really, really good. And because if you're a mouth breather, you're literally going to start to change the structure of your face. Because as I do that, there was like a study long time ago. Can't remember where it came through, but if maybe it'll come to me another time. But there's a study in this this beautiful girl. She was breathing from her mouth constantly, and the face of her structure started to change. And they were like doing all these tests, and then she started doing the mouth tape. And this was like a long time ago. I don't think it was like called mouth tape at the time, anyways. And it's like some kind of like medical tape, but there's ones that like separate, because some people get anxiety when their lips are covered, and then there's some pieces that like it's a strip on the top and a strip on the bottom that kind of holds it together, but you can separate them, and then some just completely cover the mouth. So a deviated septum, it's calcification buildup in the general area. You can recarve it out with actual like non-surgical as well. But I'm going to get you, because depending on what you did to get that deviated septum, I would get you on the ionic calcium as well, because I want to get the calcium back into the bones and help rebuild that bone structure. And like, because you kind of rotted it out, or it got rotted out depending on diet or what was the actual problem. Well, guys, I am going to hop off, but I will be back on next Wednesday to kind of go over maybe some stretching and stuff, and I'll maybe set up a little bit different of a view, and we can go over like stretching, a little bit more of the patting and clapping. Maybe I'll go for some belly button therapy. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. If you have any comments, please continue to comment, and I'll get to answering them this evening. Have a beautiful day, you guys. Bye for now.